Across Africa tonight, from Bamako to Yaoundé, from Abidjan to Nairobi, bold moves and rising tensions mark the continent's relationship with the West, as well as its own democratic journey. This is See Africa TV. Let's begin. Mali imposes 10,000 visa bond on U.S. visitors, a bold retaliation. Mali has fired back at Washington, introducing a $10,000 visa bond on all U.S. visitors. The move, described as reciprocal and sovereign, follows a similar American policy targeting African travelers under President Donald Trump's renewed hardline immigration stance. In a statement, Mali's foreign ministry said the United States had imposed the bond unilaterally, and Bamako decided to establish an identical program. U.S. officials insist the policy protects national security, but many across Africa see it as another layer of diplomatic humiliation. The timing is tense. Only months ago, Washington sought closer cooperation with Mali, eyeing access to the country's gold and lithium reserves and exploring counterterrorism partnerships. Relations have deteriorated since the 2021 coup that brought Gen Assimi Goïta to power. Goïta expelled French troops, welcomed Russian military assistance, and shifted Bamako's alliances eastward. Now, with Burkina Faso already rejecting U.S. deportation deals last week, this move from Mali sends a clear message. Africa's sovereign governments will no longer be dictated to.
Hi, people. Global politics is heating up. And this time, it's Trump versus Africa. Because Mali, yes, Mali, just clapped back at President Trump. And this one is personal. You see, Trump's been tightening America's borders again, bringing back policies that make it harder for Africans to visit the U.S. But Mali just said, two can play that game. Here's the story. A few weeks ago, Trump's administration introduced a visa bond policy requiring citizens from several African countries like Mali, Malawi, and Zambia to pay a bond of up to $15,000 before they can even get a U.S. visa. Think about that. You want to visit family, attend a conference, go on vacation, and you're told, pay us $15,000 first. It's supposed to stop visa overstays, but many see it as discrimination, another way of saying, we don't trust you. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because Mali just responded. Starting October 23rd, Americans applying to visit Mali will now have to pay their own visa bond, up to $10,000. That's right, Trump slapped a bond on Malians, and Mali just turned around and said, cool, let's make it fair. Now, Mali is part of the AES regional bloc, Alliance of Sahel states, along with Burkina Faso and Niger. And this news comes just days after Burkina Faso's government accused the Trump administration of blackmail for halting visa issuance after they refused to sign a deportation deal. So, could this be a strategic move? And could we see more retaliations like this coming from the other Sahel nations? We'll see. But my people, this is getting very interesting. So what do you think? Is this the right move from Mali? Is it about fairness? Or could it escalate tensions even more? And how do you think Trump will respond? Drop your thoughts in the comments and share this story, because the world is changing and Africa is saying we will no longer play by the old rules.
Cameroon, election chaos as opposition declares victory. Early in Cameroon, political tension is boiling over. Opposition challenger Issa Tchiroma Bakary has declared victory, even before official results are released. Tchiroma posted on social media, "Our victory is clear. It must be respected." He warned that the government must accept the truth of the ballot box or plunge the country into turmoil. Incumbent President Paul Biya, who has ruled for 43 years, remains silent, but his camp insists that final results can only come from the Constitutional Council. The situation is eerily familiar. In 2018, opposition figure Maurice Kamto declared himself winner early, only to be arrested and silenced. Now, many fear a repeat of that dark chapter, as both sides claim victory and the nation teeters on the edge of unrest.
M'ont profondément ému. Il montre que cette victoire dépasse ma personne. Elle est une sanction claire du régime en place et un plébiscite en faveur d'un changement immédiat, car la victoire est écrasante. Aujourd'hui, c'est avec une émotion profonde et une immense fierté que je m'adresse à vous. Ensemble, nous avons écrit l'histoire. Dans cette campagne, j'ai vu un Cameroun debout. J'ai vu des femmes, des hommes, des jeunes et des anciens braver les menaces, affronter les intimidations, mais rester mobilisés.
Côte d'Ivoire's election 2025, the calm before the storm. In Côte d'Ivoire, campaigns are underway for the October 25th presidential election, a contest that may define the nation's democratic future. President Alassane Ouattara, now 83 years old, is seeking a controversial fourth term after changing the constitution to remove term limits. Analysts describe the atmosphere as calm but deceptive, with major opposition parties sidelined and former President Laurent Gbagbo disqualified. Ivorians fear another one-man race disguised as democracy. Among the few challengers is Simone Gbagbo, once First Lady, now fighting to reclaim her political relevance. Observers warn that public apathy could be the biggest threat as voters lose faith in a system that seems already decided. Kenya, family of murdered woman demands justice from Britain. And in Kenya, the family of Agnes Wanjiru, the young woman murdered 13 years ago after a night out with British soldiers, is once again pleading for justice. British Defence Secretary John Healey met the victim's niece, Esther Njoki, who urged the UK to extradite the soldier accused of her killing. Njoki said, "It wasn't just the pain of losing her, it's the silence and trauma we've endured since." A Kenyan court has already issued an arrest warrant and requested extradition. London says it will support the investigation fully, but patience in Kenya is running thin. With over 200 British troops stationed in Kenya and a military partnership worth nearly $10 million a year, many are now asking, will justice ever outweigh politics?
Robert James Parkis murdered a 21-year-old girl, a young girl, who had a small baby. Murdered the girl, threw her in the septic tank, and then when he was questioned by his bosses, he told them where he hid the body. So he confessed to a murder, but the British government is hiding a murderer. Now, a Kenyan court has told us there's a warrant of arrest for Robert. He should be extradited to our country to face charges. Now, this is a litmus test to the British government who are guests in this country. They have been given 39,000 acres of land in our country to train, and when they train here, they destroy our environment, they rape our women, they rape girls, they even commit murder. It's all documented by Amnesty and many other bodies. And when our Kenyan parliament summoned them, said, come, we need to ask you questions about your presence in this country and what happens in that training center. You know what happened? They refused to show up. They showed our government a middle finger. A foreign government told our country, fuck you. Imagine that. They refused to show up. Our Kenyan parliament, members of parliament cannot get access to Batuk. And they have presence in two places. They have a garrison in Kahawa barracks, and they have a garrison in Nanyuki. And they do very, very bad things. Now, our judiciary is demanding the truth. So Kenyans, you need to demand justice for Agnes, number one. Number two, we want to know, where do the British come and train here? They train 10,000 soldiers every year in this country. Why are they training in this country? Why don't they train in their own country? Why can't they just go and blow up their own country? They come here, they leave behind unexploded ordnances that kids play with, and they lose their legs and limb and eyes. It has happened. And when Kenyans complain, they're thrown in pennies. You know, this thing about you kill someone, you rape someone, you steal their land, then you throw them pennies is very, very bad. Because those pennies do not bring back the lives that were lost, the psychological damage. You know, it doesn't really, really help. This is a public announcement. There's a murder on the loose. And if you see any, they're called Johnnies in Kenya, ask them where is Robert. Robert is wanted in this country for murder. And we ask King Charles and those weak people at 10 Downing Street, hand over this murderer now so he can be tried in our country. He killed in this country, should be tried in this country.
From visa wars to electoral tension, and from justice denied to democracy tested, Africa stands at a crossroads, demanding respect abroad and accountability at home. This is See Africa TV, where African voices tell African stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so more people hear the truth the world ignores. See Africa TV. Real stories, African perspective. This broadcast is based on verified public reports and statements. See Africa TV remains committed to factual, balanced, and independent journalism.